Marcus Aurelius lost everything, so why didn't it break him? The way it breaks you. When love collapses, you reach for distraction, for noise, for anything to numb the silence. But the Stoics did something far more unsettling. They faced it. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." So what happens when the person you loved becomes an outside event? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Heartbreak doesn't destroy you, it exposes how much of yourself you handed away. And in that void, you either shatter or finally meet the part of you that was never meant to depend on anyone at all. Heartbreak hurts most when you confuse what you loved with what you controlled. When someone leaves, what shatters is not just the relationship, but the illusion that it was yours to keep. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics were not cold. They simply refused to build their peace on unstable ground. You loved a person, their presence, their attention, their promises, but none of those were ever fully yours. And that realization can feel brutal at first. Yet within it lies a strange liberation. Think of holding water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. Love works the same way. When you try to possess it, you destroy it. Your suffering now is the echo of that grasping. So ask yourself honestly, what part of this pain comes from loss, and what part comes from the belief that it should not have happened? A simple exercise. Write 2 columns in a journal. On one side, list what was within your control in the relationship, your effort, your honesty, your presence. On the other, list what was never yours to command. Their feelings, their choices, their departure. Sit with the second column. Let it humble you, not break you. Because once you see clearly what was never yours, you begin to reclaim what still is your mind, your dignity, your path forward. You suffer not because love ended, but because your mind resists reality. Marcus Aurelius faced death, betrayal, and constant loss, yet he reminded himself, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" That idea feels offensive when you're hurting. It feels like surrender, but it is actually the end of unnecessary suffering. Pain is inevitable. Resistance is optional. When you replay conversations, imagine different endings, or obsess over what could have been, you are arguing with reality itself, and reality always wins. Carl Jung observed, "What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size." Your heartbreak grows heavier each time you refuse to accept that it is already over. Acceptance is not approval. It does not mean the relationship was meaningless. It means you stop bleeding from a wound you keep reopening. Try this. Whenever your mind drifts into if only or what if, gently say to yourself, "This has already happened." Not angrily, not forcefully, just as a statement of fact. Repeat it until your body begins to catch up with the truth. The Stoics practice something called amor fati, love of fate. Not just tolerating what happens, but embracing it as necessary. You may not love this moment yet, but you can begin by no longer fighting it. And in that small shift, something loosens inside you. The person you miss is partly real and partly a projection of your own psyche. This is where Jung enters the conversation with unsettling clarity. He believed that we do not fall in love only with another person, we fall in love with the image we place onto them. The anima, or animus, the inner feminine or masculine within you, seeks expression through others. And when they leave, it feels like you have lost a part of yourself. But look closely. Are you grieving who they truly were, or who they were in your imagination? Marcus Aurelius warned, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. You may be clinging to memories that are curated, softened, idealized. The late-night conversations, the laughter, the connection real, yes, but incomplete. Every relationship contains shadow flaws, tensions, unmet needs that your mind may now conveniently edit out. A powerful exercise is this: write a balanced portrait of the person. Not just what you loved, but what was difficult, what hurt you, what did not align. This is not to diminish the love, but to see it whole. Because when you reclaim your projections, you begin to reclaim yourself. The love you felt did not come only from them, it came from your capacity to love, and that capacity has not left you. Heartbreak is an invitation to integrate the parts of yourself you outsourced to another person. When you are in love, it is easy to unconsciously assign roles. They become your comfort, your validation, your excitement, your sense of being seen. And when they disappear, those functions collapse, leaving you feeling hollow. But that emptiness is not a void, it is unclaimed territory within you. Jung called this individuation the process of becoming whole by reclaiming disowned parts of the self. Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire, constantly turned inward, reminding himself not to depend on external things for inner stability. So ask yourself, what did this person provide that now feels missing? Was it reassurance? Passion? A sense of meaning? Now comes the harder question: how can you begin to cultivate those within yourself? This is not a quick fix, it is a discipline. Start small. If you relied on them for emotional reassurance, practice self-soothing. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you once sought. If they brought excitement, deliberately introduce novelty into your life, even in small ways. You are not replacing them. You are reclaiming yourself. The pain you feel is proportional to the parts of yourself you gave away, and every step you take toward integrating those parts is a step out of heartbreak and into wholeness. Losing love reminds you that everything is temporary, and that is what gives it meaning. Marcus Aurelius lived with constant awareness of death, practicing what the Stoics called memento mori. Remember, you will die. This was not meant to depress, but to sharpen appreciation. Think of yourself as dead, he wrote. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. When love ends, you are forced to confront impermanence in a deeply personal way. And your first instinct may be to reject that truth, to wish things had lasted forever. But nothing does. Not relationships, not youth, not even pain. The tragedy is not that it ended, but that we expected it not to. Imagine if you had known from the beginning exactly when it would end. Would you have loved less, or would you have loved more consciously? This is the Stoic paradox. Impermanence does not make love meaningless, it makes it precious. A reflection for you, close your eyes, and revisit a moment from the relationship that was genuinely good. Instead of mourning its loss, acknowledge it fully. It happened, it was real, and nothing can erase that. Then gently say, it was never meant to last forever. Not as a resignation, but as a recognition of reality. When you stop demanding permanence from life, you begin to experience it more deeply. And in that depth, heartbreak transforms not into bitterness, but into wisdom.